Hey everybody, it's Conrad from 8Dio here, and I am here with the new Studio Sopranos library. So the way we're going to work this video, I'm going to go over some of the patches, and then we are going to listen to the library in the context of a full piece. So let's not waste any time and let's jump right in. We're going to start off with the legato patch. So the legato patch comes in 4 different flavors. Let's go ahead and hear a little bit of each one. So you can hear that each one of those articulations has its own personality. Some are a little softer, some are a little more in your face. And you could also hear the giant range of this library in both pitch and dynamics. You have your really soft, warm lows, your really bright, soaring highs, and everything in between. And the diversity of this patch does not end there. You can control a ton of parameters, including things such as the legato transition speed, which that is really helpful because if you're stuck with one speed of legato, you run into a ton of problems. It might lag behind in faster sections, or when you want to be really expressive, the transition might happen too fast. So a ton of control and range and emotion from just one patch. So now let's jump over to the next patch, the Poly-Legato patch. So the Poly-Legato patch consists of pre-recorded phrases, both slow and fast versions. And let's first talk about what happens when you don't have Poly-Legato. So one of the things you run into when you are using pre-recorded phrases is that every time you start a sample over, it starts the phrase over. So I'll play a small example to show you what I mean. Here I'm using the phrase "ver a no stray." Now, I'm going to put a little gap between chords, and you're going to hear it start the phrase over with the "ver a." So let's go ahead and listen so you can hear what I mean. And you can hear with that pause there, the phrase ends on an awkward spot. It doesn't sound natural, and this is sort of the curse of pre-recorded phrases, unless you have polylegato. So let's go ahead and listen to that same section with polylegato, and you're going to hear it sounds far more natural. Absolutely beautiful. And don't think that this patch can only be played with slow notes. You can do very complex, quicker contrapuntal lines. I'll use a little example here that's a little bit faster, a little more complex. So you can see in here that that was moving a lot quicker than the previous example. So now let's jump over to the arcs. So one of the things with this library, when you are playing chords, it is so well balanced. And I'm going to use the arcs to show this off. So take a listen when it hits the second chord. I'm going to be using a much stronger articulation with a very dense voicing, but it's going to sound perfectly clear and balanced. It's not nearly as jarring as it might sound in other libraries when you have those dense chords. And in fact, it also blends so well with other libraries. Let's add in the legato patch from the new Studio Sopranos, and let's also add in the men's arcs from our Lacrimosa choir. Just a beautiful, full, warm sound that takes virtually no mixing to have them blend together perfectly. Now I'm going to jump to my second arcs patch here. So this is using a new feature for the library called Stack. And what this lets me do is stack multiple articulations together. In this case, I'm using 2 of them, but I can use as many as I want. And let's listen to each one by itself. And now the next one. So you can hear that one of them is a little more pointy, the other one's a little more round, and the stack feature allows me to have the best of both worlds without having to add a second track. So let's go ahead and listen to them together. Just a wonderful, unique, magical sound. So now let's jump to the staccato patch. So you can see that there are a ton of articulations in the staccato patch. Let me go ahead and just hit a chord and go through some of them.
X, mi, a, ho, re.
And the nice thing about having this many articulations in a staccato patch is that you can jump between them and make your own phrases. You're not stuck jumping between two different vowel sounds and just sounding very repetitive and unnatural. And now let's jump over to the Marcato patch. So this is the same scenario where we have quite a few articulations. Let me go ahead and hit a chord. Now, one of the things with the Marcato patch is the power of the speed knob. I really want to show this off. With a lot of libraries, you're stuck with the pre-recorded speed of the Marcato, and therefore you are pretty limited when you use a Marcato. But using the speed knob, I can speed up the length of the Marcato, or I can slow it down. So here's with the speed all the way up. It's going to complete the Marcato a little bit faster. And now let's listen to the same thing with the speed all the way down. So it really allows you to fine-tune the Marcato to your piece at the moment, as you can control it in real time. The way I like to put it is this is a library you write with, not a library you write to. So let's go ahead and check out the library in the context of an entire piece. So be sure to jump over to 8dio.com and check out the new Studio Sopranos for yourself.